This next guest I debated on bringing on because he should be working for me
For
and
you.
getting my scripts out. Yeah, but he just he's got his own channel now. He's a YouTuber as well.
What's going on?
Will Keys has joined us, rocking the Colorado Rockies hat.
Proud Rockies fan. We had some interesting comments from our owner Dick Monfort recently that we can play 500 ball. He said the other week. He also said this week we've never tanked, which is a funny thing to say about a team that once put out Jeremy Guthrie as their opening day starter.
Jeremy Guthrie, yeah, they were starting like guys that were like cast-offs. For the last 2 years, they let Charlie Blackmon walk basically, and and they traded Arenado for peanuts,
and they gave $50 million to get rid of him.
Yeah, they traded Nolan and $50 million,
and then you sign Chris Bryant, which is like why?
Why? Yeah,
why
on the
not?
Downside of his career though,
like and he's injured most of the time.
Yeah, it's not 2016 Chris Bryant. It's
he's a perfect Rocky then.
Yeah. Connor Joe, not using him correctly.
No, Connor Joe, he's actually a Pirate again.
He's a Pirate.
Traded.
Those are
he's back home. He's back home, baby.
I think you'll enjoy Mr. Joe quite a bit, Shree.
Yeah. We traded him for S-Rod in the Braves. So, we have a first base logjam in Pittsburgh. Apparently, Ji-Man Choi, a guy we acquired, is really pissed because we requested he be off the World Baseball Classic roster for South Korea. So there's a little bit of tension there now. So.
I think maybe put G-Man in center.
G-Man?
I think he's got some untapped.
No. That's for Kutch. That's for Kutch.
Oh, okay.
Or Brian Reynolds if we somehow managed to pay him. So
I just want to see a few innings of G-Man in the outfield.
We saw him
we had John Jaso in right field, so could have worked out.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I got to see the G-Man hit some bombs in real life. He hits tanks, dude.
I bet they're majestic.
The ball comes off
beautiful
of his
bombs.
Bat. All right, Will. So you're a YouTuber now. What has that experience been like? Was it natural to kind of just be like, because you've written for me and Brandon forever now. It's been like 3.5 years.
Yeah. So I started working for Brandon back. I was actually. And that's just been and then with you, I think a year later. And so I got to see a little bit of, how the cookie crumbles from the outside. And I had a little bit of an editing background in college, but kind of just wanted to teach myself another skill. And so I started Will Sucks at Games, and then launched a movie channel where I'm going to review some movies. And it's been a fun experience. And I will say that my respect for you guys has really grown tenfold because it's really, really damn hard at times.
What was your favorite video to make of all the ones you made so far?
I think funny enough, one that got demonetized very early in the process was Backyard Baseball on steroids. So I took Backyard Baseball 2001. And I just picked all the players that were named in the whatever report that came out in like 05, 06.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mitchell report.
Yeah. Mitchell report, right? Yeah. And to answer Nick's question, yes, but not behind the scenes in front of the camera.
Yeah, I've seen your hog. I know how big it is.
You were probably in those weird fetish movies.
Yeah. It's on the dark web. You have to really do some digging, fortunately. But yeah, no, I put the game on easy mode and just wanted to see how many tanks I could hit. And YouTube, I guess, didn't like the fact that, I mentioned steroids. I mentioned steroids and 9/11 in the first 30 seconds of the video.
Yeah. So
that was a bummer, but it was a lot of fun to make. And it was, very fulfilling creatively.
That's just so weird. Just mentioning steroids and you get demonetized. What if you're a doctor and you're talking about a steroid cream or something? Come off of that shit. Ridiculous.
Yeah, do better, YouTube.
So I might have asked you last year, but I don't remember because I smoke weed. what has been your favorite piece for me that you've written? Like, what has been your favorite script? Like, where you're just like, that was good.
I think I'll point to two. First of all, I think it's hard not to bring up classic 28-3.
Yeah, that was so good.
I think just in terms of the work that everyone put in, the concept, of course, was great. Really digging into that game. As someone who kind of just watched that game and then hating the Patriots, just put it away. Didn't watch TV or read anything for several months after that game. It was so devastating. And then, really digging into it, you got a new appreciation for just how tragic it was. And to let that unfold, that was a lot of fun. And to see the payoff, I think when you put in a lot of work and then, see, over 1 million views follow, that was really cool.
It's at 1.9 million.
1.9, yeah. Once that hits, that'll hit 2 eventually.
Before you go on to the next one, what's really sad about that, guys, that if you've watched the video, there was so much material and great writing that I had to cut out of that video to get it down to 28-3.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you had like a really good epilogue about how they lost. I had to kind of cut the overtime out because, like, looking at it, I was like, that part is not important. The part was them blowing it. Like, it wasn't them winning the game that was the most tragic thing. It was just how they lost it, and that's what to me. It's a tragedy that a lot of your good writing was actually, all for naught because we had to cut it down. But what's the next one? What was the next one? Video?
I would say I would briefly just the Kings-Lakers debacle in 2002. I won't go too much into that, but as a Sacramento Kings fan, there are some of us that was also tragic to dive into, but necessary. And most recently, I think the Josh McDaniels video.
That was so good too, because that
was a lot of fun.
What I really love is when we get together and we I come up with a concept and then you really theme it all the way through, and just the whole snake thing with McDaniels was just so good. And like, that's where we really get a great response from the audience when we can tie that all in. Like, like sometimes like some of the topics are a little mundane or we can't make them more interesting. And but like when you find something and you really hone in on it, that's where I think the magic is there.
Yeah, I think, and they can't all be 1 out of 10s, unfortunately. But kind of being able to tie in, just living through Josh McDaniels as your head coach. A lot of feelings were stirred up, and even, surviving a season, or I guess less than a season, of Nathaniel Hackett, going through Vance Joseph and Vic Fangio. I would still point to Josh McDaniels as the most disruptive figure in Denver Broncos history, just because of kind of his attitude, and he came in and immediately traded away Jay Cutler and got rid of Brandon Marshall, who were the 2 building blocks, Tony Scheffler, Peyton Hillis, guys like that. And so he's still, I think you go to Denver and he's still public enemy number 1. And now you kind of see history repeating itself in Las Vegas, which is really, the video is kind of, it couldn't have been timed any better, I think, because we just kind of laid out a blueprint for what was going to happen, and it did.
So how did it feel to be swept by Josh McDaniels this year as a Broncos fan?
Yeah, really awful. Really awful. Both games, well, I think the second game was a killer because we got off to a good lead, and then that was really Pat Surtain's, only stumble this year was against Devontae Adams. So they get, they score, I think, on the first drive of overtime. But yeah, one of the things I was looking forward to to having Josh McDaniels in Las Vegas was I wanted to defeat him. And unfortunately, we hired the only worst coach in last year's coaching cycle, so we weren't able to do that. But Mark Davis doesn't have the money, I guess, to fire him, is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
He's spent too much of it at the local PF Chang's. Probably had a PF, or is in the process of having a PF Chang's installed in Allegiant Stadium. It's like Chick-fil-A
or a Payway.
Except
you can
it's
get a
open on
Payway.
Sundays.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was truly heartbreaking. I look forward to getting another crack at it, or two, I guess, with Sean Payton this year. I feel a little more confident.
So Brandon said that they would finish 9-7 next year. How many wins do you think Payton adds to the Broncos?
Yeah, I don't see them finishing 9-7. There are now 17 games in the NFL schedule, so I can't see that happening. Hopefully we don't forfeit any. I think I'm slightly more optimistic. I would say I'll take it a step further. I'll say 10-7. I don't think you can really undersell the upgrade. You go from one of the most incompetent coaches of all time to a Super Bowl champion. That's worth a few wins for sure. And they, obviously they lost a lot of one-score games this season as it is. So you hope that luck turns over a little bit.
I mean, you have the right to be optimistic. Peyton was the perfect hire. He was the guy that you want. He was the guy, how they talk about Bill Cowher, for all those times, or even John Gruden to some degree. When he was in the booth, it's like, all right, we got Sean Payton now. You got to put the past behind you. I still think that my tweet about Payton healing New Orleans after Katrina, he was the right guy after Nathaniel Hackett. I think that's an underrated tweet. It didn't do as well as it should, but I thought it was a good tweet.
I'll let you know that I appreciated it. Rarely does a tweet actually make me laugh out loud. And that, that was pretty perfect, and accurate as well. It is, kind of a similar situation.
Equivalent disaster in terms of
in terms of football operations, absolutely.
Yes. All right, let's get that Super Bowl prediction. I know who you're going to pick, and I just know the score. Okay. There's no way you pick the Chiefs, right?
I'm not picking the Chiefs.
Okay, see, so don't.
I'd like to preface it by saying I don't think the Chiefs should be here. I think this was the Cincinnati Bengals' rightful spot in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I disagree. The Bengals talk too much shit with their mayor going off about Joe Burrow being Pat Mahomes' father. You're just begging for controversy and just like a jinx. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. The mayor, I think the mayor deserves to be impeached for that.
Does.
I think you're right, Tree. I think he might have cost them the game at the end. But yeah, I thought, and this isn't like going out on a limb, but I think the Eagles have just been the best team all season. Their only little pitfall was when Gardner Minshew got in the lineup, and I don't anticipate that happening this Sunday. So I see a great game. I think the only avenue to the Chiefs winning is Travis Kelce catching about 23 passes, 3 or 4 touchdowns. But I have the Eagles just kind of playing classic Eagles football, running the ball a lot, read option in the red zone for a touchdown, get those wide receivers involved. I think 28-24 Philadelphia.
28-24 Philadelphia. Book it. Let's see what your prediction was last year. Hold on. Sure, it's around here somewhere. Will. You said the Rams 27-24. You were one of the closest last year in terms of accuracy.
Yeah, and
you were on it. The 3-point win right there. Okay. All right, Keystradamus. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your day. Hey, let's do most tortured fan bases in the NFL.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
All right. Most tortured fan. I have some criteria that we'll go over. So I'll send that over. All right, brother.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is really cool that you're doing this for another year, and have a good rest of
Absolutely.
All right, go upload.
All right, fellas.
Come on, give that man some mercy.
Yeah, I mean, he's writing for 2 YouTubers, and he's just,
oh, come on.
He's got to make his own videos. Like what?
Right. Don't
All right,
abuse him like this. Come on.
All right. See you guys. Have a good one.
Take care, man.